Hi, it's Jen with Astrology. Welcome back to the channel. So as you can see, I don't have my chart wheel behind me because we are going to do something a little bit different today. I feel like the astrology lately has been so heavy that I'm going to try and lighten it up a little bit. We're going to do something a little bit different before kind of all hell breaks loose starting next week. So back into that. So today we are going to be talking about tarot and astrology and how you can take tarot cards and use astrology to understand them better. It really adds to both your astrology readings, I feel, and your tarot readings. So whichever one you're interested in, I think this can benefit you either way. So I started doing tarot back when I was about 18 years old. It was around the time that I was also taking classes in astrology and other parapsychology courses in a community college that we had. So, you know, it's the first time and last time I've ever seen courses like this. It was a lot of fun, and it was really, you know, something that kind of, you know, I've been interested in my whole life, a little bit different. So the courses itself focused on astrology, past life regression, that type of thing. And then I did the tarot kind of on the side, trying to be a self-taught. So back then I would do my tarot readings by kind of having my book handy. It was so hard with so many different cards, knowing what they all meant and not really having, you know, a clear focus of each card on its own. I would do the readings by going back to the book and, you know, reading what the descriptions were there. So of course that really took away from the readings themselves. So, you know, also I was doing the astrology back then, but then of course life got in the way, and you know, just had 2 kids, raised them, and slowly been getting, you know, took a lot of time to get back into both. So of course I got really deep into astrology, and that was my major focus, and then I started getting back into tarot. So that's a little bit about the history. So again, you know, the tarot, I was like, oh, you know, how am I going to learn this? And I was kind of enlisted to do kind of a fundraiser readings, but I was like, I do astrology, I don't do tarot, you know, I'm not good at it anymore. It's been a long time. But then it kind of like came flooding back, and I'm going to show you how it came back and how easy it is to memorize the cards. So we're going to start today with the minor arcana, the number cards. We're not going to go with the suit cards yet. We're just going to go with the number cards. Those were always the hardest for me. I had a lot of trouble understanding them, but you know, once you put it with astrology, if you are really deep into astrology, it makes so much more sense. And it's like, oh, okay, so you can just look at them at a glance and understand. So first, we're going to start with this, you know, the number signs. So the numbers, so we have wands. You know, we'll just start with the wands first. So we have 2 different decks. I have my kind of cult classics deck, which is kind of old worldly, and I have my OG Rider-Waite deck that I got back when I was about 18 years old. So that's they're both kind of based on the Rider-Waite decks, so it's, you know, going to be easy to kind of follow along if you are into the Rider-Waite. So first of all, we have the first 3 are 2 3s and 4s. Well, we have the aces first, and the ace is kind of like that new beginnings. So we have the 2 3s and 4s, and here's in each, and we're going to start with the wands. So when you have the early cards, so any suit, the early cards 2 3 and 4 are all of the cardinal signs. So in wands is fire. And so if you think of the cardinal sign in fire, that is Aries. So we have Aries representing these 3, and then it does break down to the other 3 with the Chaldean deacons. I'm not going to super get into that right now, but with, so say Aries, for instance, we start out with number 2, and that is of course Mars, and then we have the Sun, and then we have Venus. So pretty much they go from, start with Saturn, Jupiter, Mars, Sun, Venus, Mercury, and the Moon. So Saturn the farthest out, Jupiter, Mars, the Sun, Venus, Mercury, Moon. So it goes like that. So then like 2, and then Sun, and then Venus, and then so on and so forth. But it starts with Aries. So the wands. So when you're looking at the wands, you're thinking, okay, so the wands are represented by fire, and now that is, you know, it's Aries, then Leo, then Sagittarius. Those are our 3 fire signs. It's about taking action. It's how you know, want to move forward with something. It's, you know, just that drive, that, you know, taking action. Is it fast action, slow action? Is there blockages? Is there, you know, looking ahead of the past? So we have the 3 that start. You want to look at the pictures and you want to see, okay, so, you know, say we have the 2 of Wands, for instance. All right, so we have somebody looking ahead. He's looking through a pathway. So you do see in the background that there are some obstacles. So of course there's going to be some obstacles, but this is kind of getting started. So with the Wands, it's starting the action to get the results. So 2, 3, and 4 is that cardinal sign initiating that, you know, Mars action. Then we have 5, 6, and 7. So the middle is the fixed sign. So 5, 6, and 7 represent the fixed signs, or in the fire signs, the fixed sign would be Leo. So these would be represented by Leo, and it's kind of the plugging along. It's the going along with it. So, you know, the 5 of Wands, yes, there is aggression. How are you going to work through it? You know, are you going to fight? Are you going to, you know, kind of lay back? But it's that continuation. So the 2, 3, and 4, they're the onset. That's the cardinal energy. And then the 4, 5, and 6, or 5, 6, and 7, I'm sorry, I always overlap those. The 5, 6, and 7 are about that fixed energy and that just plugging away to get to that ultimate goal. And then finally we have 8, 9, and 10, and that is kind of that culmination. So it's the culmination. So that is the swords, or the wands. So then we have swords, and it's all the same with all the cards. So the swords are, you know, that kind of air, that it's air. So it's based on the air signs. So it's Libra, Aquarius, and Gemini. So we have those, that ideas, that, so swords is all about your ideas, your thoughts. You know, how are you going to do something, putting things into action, you know, your deepest, darkest thoughts, you know, depending on, you know, what the card looks like and what is representing it. And then next, of course, we have the cups, and the cups is about our emotions. So, you know, it's that water. So you think cups, easy to compare, it's water signs. So far we have wands, which is fire. So if you look at a wand, you know, it's like a bat. It's like taking action. Then we have the swords, which is you kind of like fine tune, focused, your ideas, you're sharpening your ideas, you're sharpening your wit. And then we have the cups, which, what's in a cup? It's liquid, it's a water sign. And then finally we have the pentacles, and I mean, they're round, they look like money. Most of the time they're represented by gold. So pentacles are the earth signs. So it's represented by Capricorn, Taurus, Virgo, where the cups are represented by Cancer and Scorpio, and then Pisces. So, sorry, my mind just blanked for a minute. So the pentacles is about your physical body. It's your health and how you take care of your health. So, and then the swords again was your ideas and your thoughts, and, you know, swords can be kind of dreadful looking, but, you know, sometimes our thoughts can be, you know, our worst enemy. If you think about it, you know, your thoughts are the things that can get you into the most trouble. And then we have the cups, which is the water signs. So Cancer is, and then that's the cardinal, and then the fixed is Scorpio, and then Pisces is the mutable. So it represents our emotions, our loves, our needs. So you can, again, bringing in a little more astrology to it, you can liken the numbers to planetary phases or moon phases. So the cardinal signs are, the low numbers are about kind of getting started. So let's look at the ace. So we'll look at the Ace of Cups. We'll start with that. So the Ace of Cups is kind of like that new moon. It's that new idea. You're kind of in that, innocent phase, in that naive phase, and I have this idea, and I'm gonna make it great. I'm gonna be rich, and then we kind of move to the 2, 3, and 4, which I liken to the first quarter phase. So that's putting the ideas into action. Okay, so this is what I want to do. So how am I going to make it work? So, putting it into action no matter what it is. So say we have cups, for instance. Okay, so, my emotions are this, my love is this, my needs are this. How am I going to try and get those needs? So, something like this, the 2 of Cups, that is, a lot about choices. There's choices, or it's about getting together. You're getting together, you're starting something new. So this could be a new relationship that's getting started. We have the 3 of Cups, so it's kind of like working on, it's a friendship, and it kind of just builds from there. The 4 of Cups, kind of like, just thinking about what you have. Is it too much? Is it, am I too emotional? And, working through those emotions. So then we move to the 5, 6, and 7 number cards. So the 5, 6, and 7, I think, are more like the waxing gibbous phase. So we're still building, but we're starting to really see things coming about, in a good way or a bad way. So, the 5 of Cups, is kind of more of the negative. Okay, like this isn't working, things aren't going as well as I thought, it's just too much, and this girl's not feeling too good about it. But then you get the 6 of Cups. Okay, so we are benefiting, and I'm going to share with others. And then, of course, the 7, we have lots of choices. Our cup's starting to run as full, and, what are we going to choose? So, in the aces, are those new ideas. So then we move on to the 8, 9, and 10. So that is kind of the full moon climax or the end. So let's look at the cups again. We might as well just stick with this. So this is, it's just showing like, okay, I've tried it, it's not enough, and I'm just gonna walk away. So you just kind of look at the picture. You see the guy walking away in the background, see he's leaving something behind and moving on to something else. Okay, we tried this, it didn't work. So if you get this card, you look at the picture, this is the culmination, and yeah, it didn't work out, so we're gonna kind of let it go. But then if you got, say, the 9 of Cups, all right, we're doing well. We're really pleased with what we have, we're feeling good about it, and, things are really built up. And, we're buying things, we're getting a lot of, just really benefiting from it. And then finally the 10 of Cups, that's like the pinnacle. So that's really the very end of everything. And with cups, it's like, oh, finally we're, maybe if it was an emotional thing we were trying to get through, you're at that pivotal point where, you're getting over that. So, or maybe you're at the culmination in a relationship where like, okay, so now, we're reaping the benefits of this hard work we put into this relationship, say for instance, or endings of the hard times that we had. So hope that makes sense a little bit. So, I liken this a lot with the sword cards. So the swords can be very kind of scary to look at. And you look at them and it doesn't necessarily seem as bad as what it is. So of course, we have, the Ace of Swords, and that is that new idea, that innocent new foundation, oh, I have this great idea, I'm gonna try this, and what can I do? So then we have the 2 of Swords. So you're thinking now the swords has to do with our thoughts. So we're sitting back, and if you can see her, she's got a blindfold on, she's she can get up and leave anytime she wants, but she's taking a second. She's got 2 swords in her hand and she's making a choice. What way am I going to go? This way, that way? I need to sit back. I need to, kind of put blinders on to everything else that's going around in the world and focus. Swords are about being focused, about honing that skill, about honing in on what you need, and just being sharp. So then we have the 3 of Swords, and this looks ominous. Okay, yes, something bad has happened. We're heartbroken. Something wasn't working out. How are we going to get through this heartbreak? So if this is what we're kind of working on, that's what we're getting started on. That's that new first quarter phase. How are we going to get past this? And then of course we have the 4. And this 4 is what is just keeping us up at night? What is what are these emotions that we have to work through? This is our thoughts. And if you guys know anything, I wake up in the middle of the night, and being a Libra, especially being an air sign, my thoughts take over. And sometimes you will wake up in the middle of the night and there'll be just something that is eating at you, and unless you figure it out, you can't move on. So here we have the 5, the 6, and the 7. So this is how we're going to work through these issues. So now we're at that fixed sign. So in the Swords, the fixed sign, so the first 3, that's our Libra, that's our cardinal, and then the next 3 is Aquarius. So how are we going to work through this? And what kind of, Saturnian almost rules are we going to put on us that we can kind of work through? So we have, this guy, he's fought a battle. He's, but he's alone. How is he gonna, proceed? And then we have, okay, so we're moving on. Maybe something isn't working out, so we have to move on. So this is, you're working through our waxing gibbous stage. We're starting to see how things are working out. Are we going to continue, or are we going to move on? And then finally we have the 7 of Swords, and she's kind of making that, sneaking away with her ideas. I'm keeping these ideas. These are my ideas, and I don't want anyone taking them. The last few swords are, I think the most, we have this, she's trapped, she's blinded. So when you see this card come up, so you're approaching the end, you feel trapped by your thoughts, and maybe you feel trapped that you can't, get these bad thoughts out of your head, these negativities. Same as when we're moving on to the 9, keeping you up at night. What can I do? How do I, instead of resting, now we need to finish this. Now we need to, when the 1 was kind of you're at rest and you're thinking about it, now you're doing something about it, and it's coming to an end. And of course, the most ominous is the 10 of Swords, where the person is actually stabbed, and so that is just that, oh, now it's the end. So we've been through this. We've, suffered all we can, and now we're going to start working the other way. So you're at that climax. You're going to start on that downward waning phase next. So again, here's what it looks like with the Rider-Waite deck. Oop, in my camera. The guy is just stabbed. So he's done. It's finished. So, it's not that you're dead and you're done, but you're done with this idea. So, it's really not that hard. And when you start putting, okay, so 2, 3, 4, those are the cardinal signs. What are the cardinal signs? Okay, so for the Cups, it is going to be Cancer. For Wands, it's going to be Aries. For Swords, it's going to be Libra. And then for Pentacles, it's going to be Capricorn. So then we move on to the fixed signs. So that is numbers 5, 6, and 7. And that is, so 5, 6, and 7. Let me pull some out. I don't have them right in front of me, so anyway, we'll just talk about it. So 5, 6, and 7, we have the fixed signs. So in, say, the Cups, for instance, if it's the 5, 6, and 7 of Cups, that is the fixed sign of the water signs, and so that would be Scorpio. So, you know, you think of Scorpio and then you kind of look at this card. So, you know, it kind of has a Scorpio feel to it, just kind of like that, you know, looking in deep, reflecting, you know, and that, and then and how are we going to move forward with this? And so then with the swords, of course, the fixed sign in that, the 5, 6, and 7 of swords are mainly going to be represented by Aquarius. And then with wands, the 5, 6, and 7, the fixed sign, of course, is going to be Leo. And then with the pentacles, the 5, 6, and 7, of course, is going to be Taurus. So those are those fixed energies, that plugging away, that working with what you have and seeing if it's going to work out. And then, of course, we have the mutable signs in the start with wands. So that one, that is our fire signs, and our last fire mutable sign is Sagittarius. So, you know, we think Sagittarius, and that's moving forward. We have action. How many Sagittarians do you know that like staying in place? You know, they fight for what they want, and, you know, and they move on. You know, Sagittarians, they like movement, they like change, they like, you know, they don't sit still. And the mutable signs, that's what they do. So then with the swords, of course, the mutable sign in swords is the mutable air sign, and that is Gemini. So, you know, Gemini, think about what Gemini is about. It's about getting information. So she's trapped. How do I get out? Taking in all the information you can. And then again, working through those sleepless nights. We have to figure things out, really using that mind, and then just getting through it with all the information that we collected. So that is very Gemini. And swords is the air signs. So then we have the cups. The cups, the mutable is, of course, Pisces. So we're looking at, you know, Pisces in the cups, and then we have him walking away. So you have to be willing to give something up. Pisces is that go with the flow. Okay, this isn't working, I'm going somewhere else. You know, this guy, okay, things are working. I'm going to, you know, keep all this, and I'm going to really reap these benefits, what I have. You know, look at, he looks pretty happy here. And then finally, the end, Pisces sees everything with that nice, happy, kind of Neptunian, you know, rose-colored glasses, and everything's just hunky-dory in the end. So that's kind of the culmination there with the cups. You know, everything, you know, you get those last cup cards, it's, you know, everything's good in the end. And then, of course, we end with the pentacles. Now, with pentacles, the mutable sign there is going to be Virgo. So 8, 9, and 10, what's Virgo all about? It's kind of about fine-tuning, showing off your work. Like, look at, he has been working on this. He's showing her how good of a job he's doing. He's painting her. You know, she's showing off the fruits of her labor. Look at all the money she's got. Look at all the possessions she's accomplished. She looks good. She looks healthy. So it's taking care of your body, taking care of yourself, and reaping the benefits of that. And then finally, the 10 of Pentacles, nice, happy family. So we end a lot with that climax where you see things coming to an end and things breaking through. So you get those first cards, you get the one, you know, the aces, those are our new starts, our new beginnings, kind of that naivety feel, that new start. Then we have the 2, 3, and 4s, and that's, you know, you get those cards, then you know, okay, you need to start putting in the work and getting started on something. And then the 5, 6, and 7s, you know, okay, if 5, 6, or 7s come up in whatever suit it's in, that's what I have to continue doing. You know, so if it's Pentacles, I have to continue work. If it's emotions, you know, or cups, I need to, you know, work through my emotions, work through, you know, my loves. You know, if I have a love interest that I'm having issues with, or moving ahead with a relationship. And then, of course, swords is, you know, plugging away with those ideas, making it come to fruition, just really fine-tuning it, really, pinpointing. You think of swords, and then wands, of course, is that continuing to take action, don't back down. And then, of course, the 7, 8, and 9 are all about the completion and how it's going to end. So if you get those cards, you know that things are coming to an end. Could be a good ending, could be a bad ending. It really depends on what the other cards are. So I hope that helped a little bit, and I hope it kind of lightened up the mood a little bit, kind of looking at some things a little bit differently. I hope it helps you out with your tarot reading, or even with your astrology practice. So you can always use this in astrology as well, and just fine tune, think of the cards that go along with everything, and then it'll kind of bring everything together. So next week, or in a few days actually, we're going to get kind of back to the nitty gritty with what's going on for the rest of the month, but we're also going to continue with the major arcana, and that should be coming up soon as well. So make sure you subscribe and get notified, and hit that notification bell so you get updated. There's a lot of astrology coming up. Nice to take a little bit of a break, but we're gonna have to get serious at some point. So hit that subscribe button, and I will see you soon. Bye.